Welcome everyone to Winning in the Shadows. I'm Andy. That's Jim. We're going to be breaking down PFL 6 2024. It's the featherweights and the welterweights. So if you're new, thanks for joining us. Hit the subscribe button, please. We're just getting this YouTube channel up and running. Put new artwork up. And Jim, my artwork was not embarrassing.
No, it's pretty good.
It was not the most embarrassing artwork, but Discord channel is up and running. We got some really good discussion in there. Put a free golf play up today. We're recording this on Wednesday, so you want a free golf play, that's up there. But let's take a look at the PFL standings here. Again, before you start making bets on PFL, you got to understand where the points are and everything. So let's take a look at welterweights here. Only 5 guys with points. I love that Star Poli has negative. That's just amazing. You know how bad you have to be to end up with negative points? Oh, man.
And that's how he's going to finish because he's out.
He's out. It's so funny.
Finishes the league with
how do you
-1.
finish with negative? You screw up and you miss weight. All right, run through these standings here in welterweight. Anything big we want to? Umalatov with 3 points is the big one, right?
Yeah, this is a brutal division. This is an absolutely brutal division. When you see 3 Russians in the playoffs, you kind of know how tough this division is going to be and tough to predict. Don Madge is a surprise. He had the benefit of fighting Brennan Ward. We'll get to Brennan Ward in our breakdowns. But it is a little bit of surprise that Umalatov is in 4th. I do, however, think that Umalatov might have had the toughest matchup in round 1. Koreshkov is no slouch. So interesting that he's in 4th. He knows he's got some work to do. I think he knows that a decision's not going to gut it. He could be on the outside looking in. And this Yamauchi with 3 out of the playoffs right here just explains it, right in your face. One of these guys is going to need a finish to get in the playoffs at some point in this night. So we got to figure out who that's going to be.
Let's go down to that was welterweight. Sorry. Featherweights. Here we go. We got 2 guys with 6 points, 3 guys with 3 points here. Loughnane, great, gets the finish. Didn't think he looked that great. It's these 3 guys here with 3 points. You're going to see all 3 of them pushing the pace, trying to get finishes in their fight. So, any big takeaways here in this division?
The big surprise has to be Kamaka. He gets his win. He doesn't get a finish. But here's the thing. I don't see a fight booked for Adam Borsis.
I don't either. Yeah.
So technically, Kamaka is in 4th as of right now. So we can take Adam and just throw him out because I don't think any of these guys is going to get eliminated by that 3 from Borsis. So Braga, real nice, pleasant surprise getting the finish. Khizriev is a monster, but that 3 points, we've seen it, man. You gotta get some bonus points here other than just winning the fight. So I don't know if a decision is going to be enough for him to make the playoffs. And the weird thing is, I think he's probably, if he gets in the playoffs, maybe the favorite to win.
Well, let's go through these fights and start breaking them down here. So start with Tyler Diamond and Brett Johns. Oh my God, what a line flip this was! This thing was Tyler Diamond minus 198. Now it's Brett Johns minus 166. I kind of like Tyler Diamond to win his last fight, and he did, but this is probably not a good matchup for him. So he was fighting a real chump in Otto Rodriguez. I don't say chump, but you know what I mean. Brett Johns, kind of a real deal. He's a real guy. I like him to win. Probably not betting it, but it's Brett Johns or nothing for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we spoke about Brett Johns, how he's always in the fight. And he is. He's most of the time he is always in that fight. He's close at the end. It's just, can he get over that hump? He's got the experience advantage over Tyler Diamond. I've never been impressed with Tyler Diamond. I've never been super impressed with Brett Johns, but I have a sneaking suspicion that the well-rounded game of Brett Johns could come into play here. I think he's going to be good enough to reverse the wrestling. He looked pretty good on his feet in his last fight. He did. The question I have is face-offs. I want to see these guys size up, because this is Brett Johns going up from his natural weight class. It has been this whole season. So I want to see these guys face off and then go from there. I think the smart money was on Johns and flip this line. Now you're seeing a little bit of pushback. Johns dropped a little bit today. Now it's coming back up. So I think bets are influencing the line. It's Brett Johns or nothing. No bet just yet. I want to see face-offs.
I mean, listen, it's 2024 and we can bet against a Gracie. I don't even really need to look at a whole lot from the opponent to just know the opponent's decent enough, and you bet against a Gracie. I mean, listen, Neiman Gracie loses to Yamauchi, gets the decision win against Dante Shiro Whoopty, but then, loses to Yamauchi and Logan Storley. These guys are just, they haven't caught up with the times, man. And like you said, the only worry here is Don going to be dumb enough to go to the ground and try and show off his grappling? If he keeps it on the, I mean, anybody can win a striking match on the feet against Gracie. They look terrible. They look awful. So I'm not going to overthink it. It's Madge or nothing for this one. Your thoughts?
You hit the nail on the head. This is a prime example of doing too much tape study and too much reaction. It's I was a little iffy during the week, and then you look at it and you go, it's a Gracie. It's a Gracie. Okay, and let's face facts. He went to the decision with Yamauchi, but he did absolutely nothing in this fight.
Nothing.
I'm not betting on a fighter that's still pulling guard because they can't do anything on the feet. There's no more pulling guard in 2024. There's just not. Yeah, it's Madge. Standings-wise, could Madge hunt for the finish? He might get gifted it. Does he need the points? It's an early fight. Does he feel safe with 9? That's really the question, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you feel safe with 9. I mean, Madge would have to rock Gracie on the feet and be careful enough to not jump on top of him. A la who's the guy that did it in the UFC? The guy that put Brady Highstand on his ass, and then instead of standing up, he jumps on top of him and lets Highstand recover. Like
it'll come to me.
Yeah, that's the mistake. And you have to actually be conscious of that in the fight. Mm-hmm. Do not go to the ground with this man. I think Gracie's going to be tough to finish though, just because you're not going to ground and pound him. You're probably not going to, you're not going to submit him. It's got to be something on the feet where you clock him and he just crumbles over. And I'm not sure Madge can do that. So I think it's a decision win for Madge, and I think he ends up with 9 points. So that's my take on it.
People were talking about how this is a move up in weight for Madge, and against Ward they were like, I don't know, And then you saw them actually in the cage, and he looks massive. It makes me wonder how this guy ever cut those extra 10 pounds off. So I think he's really filled in at this weight class. He's going to size up well with Gracie.
Yeah, Garrett Armfield is the one we're thinking of.
Armfield.
Kai Kamaka and Pedro Carvalho. This is kind of a card where there's a few. We talked on the UFC video. If you guys haven't seen, we did the UFC 303 breakdown, and we talked about how there's a lot of guys. It's like, it might be retirement night. Mm-hmm. This card features some guys we're very excited to bet against, and Pedro Carvalho is one of them. Why don't you talk about Kai Kamaka and Pedro Carvalho here?
Well, I have coined Pedro the Marlon Moraes of this season, where I think he's going to get smoked again. I just do. Yes, it was an early stoppage against Loughnane, but to get clipped by Brennan early and get put down like he did, that's not a good look. It's not. He's not a power puncher. He's a guy that kills you with volume and beats you up and then wants to pour it on. And it really was like the first big exchange of the fight, and it just put him right face down on the mat. So I don't see Pedro holding up. I know Kai's not a finisher, but boy, did Kai look really good against Bubba Jenkins. It was a stupid game plan from Bubba, but
beyond stupid. It was beyond stupid. It was one of the dumbest game plans from start to finish. Like, there's bad fight IQ in the heat of the battle, and then there's bad fight IQ and game plan from when the fight starts to end. And Bubba put on an all-time dumb-ass performance against Kai Kamaka. So I will say Kai got gifted. He was the beneficiary of a completely moronic game plan from Bubba Jenkins. But you're right. He took advantage.
Now, here's the thing, too, with Kai. I don't think Kai is safe with 3 points. So you got a guy who just got knocked out. Kai's going to have to go for this finish. I don't know if it's going to be early. To me, if he's smart, he takes his time, he pieces him up. But if Kai can get 5 or 6 points, that's going to get him sitting pretty for the playoffs here. 3 points, I don't know. I just don't know if that's going to get it this year. We're going to have to see. So I would expect Kai at some point to try to end this fight. He's coming in ready to rock. No injuries from that last fight. Barely got touched by Jenkins. It was more like cardio practice than anything. So yeah, Kai Kamaka, man. I think Kai is really very impressed with him in his first fight. Very impressed with his first fight in PFL.
What's interesting here is this board thing. Like, Kamaka can get the win and probably be okay. I mean, Bubba would have to get... you'd have to have one of these guys get a 6-point finish. Mm-hmm. And then, so I don't know. You're probably right, though. If Kai's smart, he'll go after... Pedro Carvalho, who just looks like he's got a glass chin at this point. So he's just undersized, too. Carvalho, he just looks small in there. Probably because he is small.
He does.
So.
He is small, yeah.
So,
the other thing with Pedro is on the breakdowns. Last time we were talking about how he's sightseeing. Well, this is the Pedro Carvalho sightseeing tour yet again. All they ever show of him is he's walking around buying clothes and going to the waterfalls and...
Got a little pinwheel.
Yep,
on a stick.
Exactly. He's trying out for Big Brother or something. Who knows?
Yamauchi and Koreshkov. I'll let you go on this one. What do you make of this fight?
Missed the boat. This is my shoulda, woulda, coulda of the PFL fight
right.
here, man.
That's right.
They hang such a good plus number on Koreshkov. I believe we could have got him at plus 136. He's plus 100 right now. Koreshkov had the worst matchup in round 1. He had to fight Umalatov. That was a unanimous decision loss, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight for Koreshkov. Yamauchi got to fight a Gracie that he already beat, and he cruised with no sense of urgency whatsoever to get the decision win. I don't like that. To me, it's a red flag in the PFL. He had a chance in the first round to go for that 6, get the 6, even 5, and get himself in a better position. And now he's stuck with 3. I don't think he finishes Koreshkov. And on the feet, I don't think this is even a contest. Koreshkov is way better on the feet. Koreshkov's defensive wrestling against Umalatov was pretty impressive. He was able to get back to his feet. And I think that Umalatov is a way better wrestler than Yamauchi. Yamauchi probably a better natural grappler. Submission grappling, but not wrestling. So I think that Koreshkov can stuff the takedowns come round 2, stay on the feet. He's going to have more power, the better combinations, the more variety of attacks. So at plus money, I do not hate a bet on Koreshkov. I have not bet it yet. I want to see if we start getting that Yamauchi money back in now because now the line's trending the other way. So we'll see what they look like at face-offs and go from there.
Yeah, Yamauchi fought like a guy who had a bad injury. That's kind of who I thought he fought. I thought he looked tentative. This is a guy that he finished, before. He had an arm bar in Bellator before that. Had a finish against Chris Gonzales before that. So, has that Michael Page fight. And maybe that was kind of knocking the rust off. But like we said, there's just not a lot of time to recover. And not a lot of time in between fights. You got to get back on the horse. So I'm with you. I think Koreshkov is the play here. Khizriev and Barzola. I don't really have a strong opinion on this one. What do you think?
I just kind of forgot about this fight, and then I looked at it last night and said, why in the world do I not have a bet on Khizriev?
Oh, okay.
So he's going to have to be parlayed. I think minus 570, something like that. He should be better than Barzola anywhere. Barzola is a grizzled vet. I get it. But you're talking about a 15-0 Russian monster here. And we've seen him get put on his back. He can scramble back up, but he's going to go right back down. Barzolo's not going to stuff takedowns for 3 rounds against Khizriev. The interesting thing is, what does Khizriev go for here? Again, this division specifically, I think, is so tight, that Barzola knows he's got to go for a finish early. That's going to open up the wrestling for Khizriev. I wouldn't be shocked to see Khizriev kind of push in round 1 if he gets an early takedown and try to work for the submission. Very hard to knock out Enrique Barzola. Very hard. So I think this is going to come with grappling and control and submission here. Give me Khizriev as a parlay piece. Right now he's 625. You're going to have another really good piece to put him with, but I have no reservations of parlaying him up at all.
Yeah, Barzola's kind of one of those guys. He survived. didn't do anything, but
Yeah.
survived. Like, I think you said about Marnik Man, like, boy, he can take an ass whooping for 3 rounds. But not a compliment.
No.
Ramazanov and Musaev, sorry I butchered that name. 12-0, 17-0 versus 1. Whose O's got to go, Jim?
The most polarizing fight on the card, man. This is the most polarizing fight on the card. There's one way to bet this fight. Whoever's plus money, that's who you take.
Yeah,
That's
I like
it.
where you're going with
That or
that,
you don't bet it. Like, just don't. This is 2 Russians. We just saw it this past weekend when two Russians fight each other. A lot of times it goes to decision because it's that same grappling. I know that Ramazanov is more the grappler. His striking is not good, and Musaev is more the striker. But it's just like these guys have seen it all from that region of the world. They fought against it all. They know how to defend it all. I wouldn't be shocked if this fight goes the distance. I don't have a pick on a side. Whoever's plus money, that's the way you bet it. I will not be betting this fight. Anytime there's a fight that is the most bet, most looked at fight, closest fight of the night, I just cross it right off my list. I want no part of being on this coin flip either way. It's a 50-50 flip.
I'm with you on the over. I can't wait for the overs to come out. I would hope to get a really good number on the over 2.5 or, fight to go the distance. These guys are so even that I agree. They cancel each other out. I don't think they're gonna show the other one something that they haven't gone over a million times in practice. I'm not sure where the finish would come from, but probably a stay away since we're just, looking at trying to find the best of the best bets in this one.
If they put it at 1.5, just think about this for a second. If they hang this at a 1.5, we're most certainly betting.
Thank you. Thank you, please. Yes, I would love
Yes,
1.5.
please.
Absolutely. So, Larkin and Dominguez, again, no opinion here. I have no interest in this fight. What about you?
We can skip right over this one. I'm not laying chalk on Lorenz Larkin at this stage in his career. Dominguez
Friends
is
don't let
not
friends
great.
lay chalk on Lorenz
We move
Larkin.
on. We move on.
Gabriel Braga and Bubba Jenkins. Hey, listen, shout out to Bubba Jenkins' new team. Anytime you can take an elite wrestler and turn him into a low-level striker, you've got to do it, especially at a tournament that rewards finishes. Just, listen, I'm just going to keep harping on it because of how ridiculous it looked and came across. It was just an embarrassing performance from Bubba Jenkins. And now he's got to get a round 1 finish and hope for, and get some kind of help or so. I don't know, maybe 3 people in his division miss weight and they get negative points. I think Jenkins, I'm not betting on Bubba Jenkins, not after what I saw in that one. If that's going to be the path that he's going to go down, then no thank you. And the odds suggest it. Braga's minus 192, because if he does it again, Braga is going to be saying the same thing that Kamaka said after the fight to Bubba Jenkins. Thank you. Thank you for not testing my wrestling. Thank you for standing there and getting tired after the first round. So it's Braga or nothing for me. Bubba Jenkins went on he was a bet on. Now he's not only is he not a bet on, he's a bet against. I just think he really lost himself in that last one, and now I'm not sure what your game plan is when you got 0 points in your first one. You're pretty much eliminated. So it's Braga. I think it's a pretty decent price, actually. But, Jim, Bubba tries to do the same thing last time. He's toast. Braga's going to smoke him on the feet.
Oh, Braga's
right?
a different animal. Braga's a different animal. Funny little story about Bubba Jenkins. I had an interaction with Bubba Jenkins' Greco-Roman wrestling coach at one point, and he gave me a little inside scoop on Bubba, what he's good at, what he's bad at. And, Bubba, I think, has become really a fighter that doesn't know how to be a nail anymore. He can't take the beating. He can't fight through it. It's a mental thing. He exhausts himself mentally, which affects his cardio. You see the man train. He's in fantastic shape. But when he can't be in the driver's seat, you see his cardio just crash.
That's a really interesting take. You saw it against Pinedo.
Same
want to
thing,
go back
right?
2 fights. Yeah, he wasn't in control and he got crushed.
Like, don't tell me the man doesn't have 15 minutes of cardio. He could do cardio for probably an hour. But fight cardio is a different animal when you're getting punched in the face. So, and Braga's going to punch you in the face. That's going to happen. I like where Braga looks so patient in the Justin Gonzales fight. I loved what I saw from him from bell to bell. A lot of people are saying that he didn't look good. Gonzales was getting off on him. He wasn't this. I personally just think that it was a calm, calculated Gabriel Braga. It was not somebody who's going to rush in and get taken down and get controlled. And if he brings that same mentality to this Bubba Jenkins fight and he can stuff the takedowns, Bubba is in deep, deep, deep trouble. I think Braga finishes him if Bubba can't get this down quick and early and zap the gas tank. The leg kicks, I think, are going to be extremely important for Braga, especially at the end of round 1 into round 2. I think he can break Bubba Jenkins. Bubba's going to have to come out early and go for this finish, and he said it in his interviews. I have to come across that cage. I need an early finish. Well, you got a guy with cardio concerns who doesn't like to be a nail, who's going to use all his cardio in the first minute of this fight. So give me Braga late. Give me Braga round 2. I like Braga in this spot.
I love that. I love the unders. And yeah, Braga round 2 and 3 could be interesting.
Braga's got a chance to lock up the number 1 seed if he can finish Bubba Jenkins here.
Yeah. Umalatov and Brennan Ward. Umalatov is 15-0, well-deserved. What do you like in this one? I'm assuming it's Umalatov.
Yeah, give me the minus 2,500 on Magomed Umalatov. No, I'm kidding. There's a reason.
5%?
Yeah, 5%. 5% that play. Umalatov should absolutely run through Brennan Ward. Same Brennan Ward interviews, just out there, basically saying, again, I'm going to get cut. This is the end for me if I don't win. Yeah, we know, Brennan. We know. This is probably the end for you. Keep in mind, this is a guy that was working construction, got the call from PFL, and said, guys, so not only did he quit, he didn't quit, he didn't get fired. They basically put him on, what do they call it when they
like administrative leave,
yeah,
absence
exactly. He's got a job to go to when he's back. He's going to be working construction next week. So this is the favorite to win the division against Brennan Ward, who's so checked out at this point. He's here for a paycheck. He's going to go for it. I'll give him that. I think he's going to end up on his back in 15 seconds. And Umalatov is just going to run through him on the ground. So when the lines come out, we'll see what Umalatov is by finish or round 1. I don't think this fight gets out of round
2,200.
You know, if fight ends in 60 seconds, see if you get one of those wacky ones. I think this is going to be fast. This is going to be a fast fight. And I think Umalatov gets 6 and locks himself into a really good position.
Logan Storley. We betting on Logan Storley here in this one? This is, I don't know. I don't know what to make of Logan Storley. It's certainly not a fight I'm going to put money on. I'm not laying minus 258 on Storley. I think it's just honestly, it's not even a dog or pass situation. It's just a pass for me. I really don't have anything groundbreaking about this fight. What are your thoughts?
It's going to be a size advantage for Luca. Okay, so that right there. Storley has struggled with guys that are bigger than him in his career. I don't think that Luca is that skill set that he is going to struggle with. I just don't. I actually don't mind the line on Logan Storley. He was a minus 1,000 favorite against Staropoli, and I don't think that Luca's some big giant. I don't think it's worth an 800 line move. How do we go from minus 1,000 to a minus 200? Logan Storley, if he's smart and if he can, he's got to go for a finish early. We know that. I think he's going to push the wrestling. He's going to put Luca down and try to get this finish. I think he'll have the better cardio. This is 2 weeks' notice. Or not even. I think it's even less for Luca. Can Luca even get in the playoffs? I would assume if he beats Storley and gets 6, they're going to let him in. Because Staropoli's got to be out, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. They would probably... They would, if he got 6 points, then yeah, maybe they could do something. But that would be a big ask to get Storley out in 6. Because
I think Storley's going to rebound off his loss here. I think he gets.
Yeah, because Umalatov, you got to believe, is going to get the finish, so he's going to be up above. So he's 6
at 9.
Points. Yeah.
Don Madge will be at 9, worst case.
Mm-hmm.
One of the two. Yeah, one of
Yeah.
these two Russians is going to be on the outside looking in.
And then Yamauchi probably not going to get the finish. So I would say it's unlikely that Luca would get 6 points, though. That would be tough to get. It'd be tough to get an early finish on Logan Storley.
Yeah, he doesn't have the same striking that Musaev has. It's not even the same animal. So, give me Storley in this one. Be interested in the finish prop when it drops.
Brennan, Loughnane, and Justin Gonzales. Before we break this one down for you guys, just could hit the like button on the video. Helps us out. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that. All of our content's going to be on this channel now, including our Takedown Live, where we watch the PFL and UFC events live, give out some live predictions and fight wagers. And we're going to start doing some NFL future breakdowns moving forward. So we're building the channel up. This is where our content is going to be all in now. So go ahead and subscribe, get notified whenever we have videos up, and join our Discord. Got a lot of good discussion in there. Put a free golf play up in there. Always, we've been looking forward to trying to figure out a good way to communicate with everybody. And I know Discord is not exactly a groundbreaking thing, but it's different for us. And looking pretty forward to building that up and communicating with all you guys. So go and join that. Link is in the description of the video. Let's talk about Loughnane and Gonzales. Listen, it's you don't really want to say like, well, I didn't think Loughnane looked good in his first round knockout win. But that being said, I just didn't think he looked that crisp. Maybe he was kind of overlooking Carvalho, maybe rightfully so. But I mean, you're paying the Loughnane price, minus 500. I mean, you better, if you're laying minus 500, you better be sure that he's going to get a finish. I don't want to go to decision with a guy that's minus 500, not these days. I can't lay minus 500. I don't think Justin Gonzales is all that good, but just, I mean, I know he's lost, his last 3 fights, but there's just something about Loughnane that didn't look crisp. I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm completely wrong in this one, but, he loses the crazy finish to Pedro out of nowhere, which was a 1 in a million shot. And I know we cashed on Loughnane, in this, against Carvalho, but I don't know. Is minus 500 too much, or am I making too big of a deal out of it?
It is a lot, but here's the question we got to ask ourselves is Pedro's chin and Justin's chin just as bad as each other? Because I personally believe Justin Gonzales has just as bad a chin as Pedro Carvalho. I just do. It took one shot from Braga. One. It took a left hook from Gabriel Braga to just flatline this guy and put him down easy. And Gabriel Braga is not a knockout, one-punch power guy. He's never been.
Yeah, it was only 2 months ago, too.
Yeah, it was very recent. I remember in the cage looking at Braga compared to him and just thinking he was massively undersized. And Loughnane is not a small fighter by any means. Mm-hmm. Is this a layup? Is this the fight that we look back on and say, man, minus 500 was a steal, or Loughnane by finish was
minus 500 isn't a steal in PFL. Like when we do those segments where we talk about like the woulda, coulda, shouldas, where it's like, oh, why didn't we bet that? I don't have a minus 500 as a woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm looking at the ones that were like, man, that was minus 160.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even close. So no, you're paying the Brendan Loughnane price on this one. The books are making you pay for it. So I mean,
I'll
you're
word it
right.
this way. There's going to be a time for us to bet against Brendan Loughnane if he makes the playoffs. Most certainly.
Yeah, and he's going to
I
make
don't
the
think
playoffs.
it's Justin Gonzales.
Okay, all right, fair enough.
I can't bet on Justin Gonzales.
Okay, all right. All right, well, before we get out of here, we're going to do the Parlay Busters and the woulda, coulda, shouldas. So let's go through here, and real quick, Jim, I'm going to come to you first. What is the Parlay Buster on this PFL card? Who you got?
I am going to say this is a tough. Lorenz Larkin, definitely.
Okay.
Larkin.
All right, Lorenz Larkin.
Minus 240 on an older fighter fighting a hungry up and comer with no playoff implications on the line. First time we're seeing him in PFL. That's right in that nice parlay number too.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go Logan Storley as the Parlay Buster. Again, I don't have that good of a reasoning, but I'm looking for one of these favorites that's susceptible. I think it might be Logan Storley. All right, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I'm assuming we got to go with props or unders here. What's the one that nobody's going to bet on it? And then at the end of the night, we're going to be, damn it, why didn't we bet big on that one? What's the woulda, coulda, shoulda?
Kai Kamaka by knockout.
Gets chinny there, Carvalho.
Yeah. Just I think everybody's going to have Kai. Nobody's really going to be betting on Pedro, but I think hopefully when this line drops, is it at plus money? I think it might be at plus money. We're going to look back and, first exchange, Pedro gets clipped and goes down. We say we could have got plus 120 on Kai by knockout.
I'm going with
like
Brett.
An easy win.
I'm going with Brett Johns.
I
like it. I think at the end of the night, we might be going, can you believe we only had to lay minus 160 against Tyler Diamond?
That's a
this
good
is a Tyler Diamond that took a long time off there, came back to be a sacrificial lamb here, and then they give him Otto Rodriguez for a win. But yeah, I think fading Tyler Diamond might be a regret we all have at the end. So, all right, guys, that is going to do it for us for your PFL breakdown. Again, leave us a comment, tell us what you think and what you like, and subscribe to the channel. Get notified when all of our videos come out here on Winning in the Shadows. We're building this up, and make sure you join our Discord. It's where we're going to be going over our bankroll management and our road to millions, showing you how to build the bankroll 3% at a time, 1 week at a time. Good luck on your place, and we will see everyone next time on Winning in the Shadows.
Good luck, guys.